Yo, what is going on, everyone? So today I want to show you how I created this super simple website using Tailwind CSS. So this right here is super beginner friendly, nothing fancy, but here's a little home page and there's a little navigation, and then I just add this little mobile drop down, so if I click it and then just goes like that. Fairly basic, simple, nothing too fancy. So without further ado, let me show you how I made this. Alright, so before we get started, you're going to want to make sure you have a good understanding of HTML and CSS. If you do not have that much knowledge of CSS, it's going to be very difficult to visualize what's going on, because Tailwind is essentially making it easier for you to create your CSS without having to add it all in individually. So just keep that in mind. And without further ado, here I have VS Code opened up. So if you want to make sure you have the exact screen that I have, then go ahead and make sure you're using VS Code. And if you're not, then you'll have to just adjust to whatever I do. So for this example, I'm going to make it my entire project straight from the terminal. So I'm in VS Code right here. You could do this on your actual terminal too. It doesn't matter, but here let me do Command J, and that's going to open up my terminal here. And let me just bring this up. And if you've never done this before, it's too much for you to understand. You could literally just create your own project from scratch too, but and just drag it in. But for here, let's just do this. I'm going to CD into my projects folder, so that's on my desktop. So I'll do CD. So let's see, CD desktop. You're just gonna most likely be in a different place, but let me just do mine here. So CD desktop, and then I have another folder on desktop called project. So now you should just navigate into wherever you're gonna create your project. So whether it's desktop, documents, or whatever it's at. And now what I want to do is make a directory, so a new project. So I'm going to call this, so I'll do mkdir, and I'll just call this one Tailwind CSS sites, and I'll just put v1, and then I'll just press enter. So now nothing happened because we have to actually navigate into there. So I'm going to say cd Tailwind CSS dash site dash v1. So now I'm inside of this new folder, essentially project we just made. So in order to open it up with VS Code, if you're on just your regular terminal, you just say code dot and it'll open up VS Code. But since I'm actually using VS Code right now, I want to open it within the same window. So I just say code dot dash R, and it basically just opens it up like this. So if I did just code dot, I think it would just open up like another window, which wouldn't make much sense. So here we are, and let's get started. So let's go back, open the terminal again. And let's go and install Tailwind. But first, let's do this. Let's do npm init, and then I'll just say -y, so it just answers all the questions. So I'll just press enter. And then we got a little package JSON right here. And this is what we got so far. And then what I'm going to do is we could go to the docs. So like I'll show you right here. Like here's the actual docs. And I just went to the quick start, I think, or the installation section. And you can just go here and just copy this line here. Since we're just doing HTML CSS, I mean, some of the stuff I'll say it doesn't really matter, but if you end up using like React, Gatsby, Vue, etc., then some things you'd have to look into. But here I can just copy this line here, and I'll just paste this. Also, you can just do npm install Tailwind CSS. I think it should work too, unless they make any updates. But now you can see we have this right here. And then what I want to do next is I need to create my folder. So let's do this. On the root of your actual project. If you did everything right, by the way, you should have the node modules and then these two files here. But now let's create our actual folder. So I'll just create a new folder. Make sure you're on the root, and I'll just call this one public. And then in the public folder, this is where we'll put all of our code. So let's just do this. Let's do new file. I'll do index.html. And then we'll do a new file again. Let's do styles.css. And I'll have an images folder too. So let's just say images. And then let's do new file app.js for the little mobile menu. And then after that, we need to create another folder. So outside, back on the root, so click on this section here and just change our folder icon src. And then here in the src, we'll just do a new file and just call this one styles.css. Now on Tailwind, they have this little section of code. When we go down, scroll down here, and we're already here, so we can actually do this. But yeah, let's just do that right now. And this just creates a config file. So I do npx Tailwind CSS init. I'll press enter, and then this little file should pop up right here. Now this is meant to add like additional styles in your own custom, but we're not going to be using this, but I just have it here just in case you wanted to add like your own custom colors and everything. But this website's super basic, so I don't really need that, but that's just here in case you need it. Now in the docs, we continue to scroll, and it's going to have this thing right here telling you to include this in your CSS file. So just go ahead and copy these 3 lines, or you can just type them out. I'm going to copy these, and then I'm going to go into my styles.cs from the SRC, and I'll just paste these in here, and I'll hit save. And then we'll add additional things here too, but right now let's do this. Let's go to package.json, and then I want to add this little code in my scripts. So go here, back on this scripts tag, and just delete this line inside of it, and then we'll just say build-css, and then colon, and then quotes will say Tailwind CSS build. And before I finish this, let me show you what's happening. So right now, if we go to the public styles.css, like it's empty, right? And then the SRC has like these right here. So when I write this code, you'll see. So let's go back to package.json. We'll write out this line, Tailwind CSS build, and then we're gonna go in the SRC folder and look for the styles.css. Make sure I put the S on both. Okay, yeah. And then space, we'll do -O. And then we're gonna look, oh, I put 0, hold on, my bad. -O, make sure you put the letter O. And then we're gonna say public/style.css. So now we're gonna look into this public.style.css. So I'll save it here. And then in order for this to actually update the file, we're gonna say npm run, and then this little code we have right here. So I said build-css. So then I press enter. And now, while that is loading up, now if I go to my public folder and click on style.css, now we see all of these stylings right here. So it goes on for like infinity. And now you can see all of these fancy styles that we already have for us, which is awesome. And now we are ready to start styling our website. So make sure, here, let me X off these. Let's get rid of this. We only need to go in the index.html. So I'll just do shift1 exclamation. Why is it not doing it for me today here? Okay, and then let's just make sure we link this. So let's say link style.css. And before I forget, let's make sure I have my app.js with the app.js here. And let me just save these. And before we start, make sure you have some extensions installed so that you can actually see. So let's do, make sure you have live server. So let's see, live server here. And then also, let me see, Tailwind CSS. And, oh, what happened? And I have this Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. So this is just like a little helper to show you like colors and stuff. So you don't need this, but if you want to make sure you have the same visual as me, then make sure you have that there. And I think that's all I have for now. And then let's go here and start adding in our code. So let's just test this out really quick. And let's just do H1, and I'll be like, yo. So I'll save this here. Let's close the terminal. And then I'll open with the live server. And once that loads up, we'll see that we have our yo right there. So now, if you've never seen Tailwind, then it's pretty much you just add class and then you say whatever you want to add in terms of the styling. So pretty much, like for instance, we can say text dash, and let's just do red dash 500. And you can see that it gives me auto options, so I can like just go down and choose them. But let me just save this really quick. It automatically turns the text red. So we know that everything's working. So if that's not working for you, you must have messed something up. So let me know in the comments below, or I think you should be able to figure it out in the docs. But like here, if you want to type in, let's just say like color. Or actually, let me try this. Let's just say text, and then just click on any of these things for now. And you pretty much see the entire doc. And also, if I drag this out, it's probably easier. So like here's the Tailwind CSS value, and then here's like what actually would be in normal CSS. And like here you can see like flexbox, for instance, all of these properties. So that's flex itself, but like flex row, flex column, flex wrap, effect shrink, etc. grid. You get the point. So pretty much anything you need, you can find it here. And I believe there's a cheat sheet that has like all of these in an easy way. You can just click and drag and drop them, or I mean drop down. So I'm sure you can just go do that too. But for this one, these are pretty basic. So let's go here and let's just start coding this out. So let me delete this H1. And I just have a basic nav. So let's say nav. And then let's add the, I'll add the classes after we code up the like HTML, because you won't be able to see what's going on. And here, let me just add role equals navigation. And I'm just going to do this list. So I'm just going to have a tags here. And then let's say a, and it's going to have an ID of logo for now. And then, actually, I think we should be fine. We don't need the ID. Let me just keep that for now. Let's just do this. And then let's do dot pl-6 and press tab. And then here, let's put index.html for the link. So PL is essentially padding left, and its value is 6. So if I go here and just say like padding, click padding, you can go down and you'll see there's like all these P to whatever number here. And then there's PY, there's P top, PX, PT, PR, and let's see if I can find PL. So PL6 is basically padding left 1.5 rem. So that's literally what this value is. So now this is the main doc. You can see this is little padding here. So if I go to the new site, if I just type in like serve right here, save it, now we got some padding. So if I delete this, or if I change it to like, let's say 10, you can see it changes it, and then like 2. And that's pretty much, like that's basically it. We just add in the classes and style it out. So it's not that complicated. So here, let's go and make sure I have inside. So what did I put? Yeah. Sometimes I don't know why it's messing up, where like it auto saves on like wrong lines, but oh well, we'll fix that later. But here, this is going to be, let's do this. Let's create a div. And so with this, I don't have to do anything, just put dot, and then I'll just say, let's do px-4 dot cursor dash pointer dot, and I'll show you this one. So this one essentially, actually I'll show that after because it's not gonna make any sense right now. So let's just do that, and then let's do hashtag, let's say bars, and I press tab. So essentially it gave us 2 classes. So we got px4, and then we got cursor pointer. So now we go here, let's do command F, px-4. You can see padding left and then padding right. So actually I should have put I should just put PR, but let's just say this right now. Let's just say bars. Yeah, it's fine right there. We can adjust this later. And we're gonna add another class too, but this is essentially the hamburger menu. So before we do that, I want to add the additional nav links, because we're gonna add a custom icon from this website that is built by the same guys as Tailwind CSS, so that you can just automatically copy and paste the icons. But let's finish this up. So let's do another div. This time it's going to be class hidden. So the class hidden, essentially it hides it. And then we're going to say dot md :block. And then we'll press hashtag. And then we'll have the ID of menu. So right now we have these 2 classes, hidden and then md block. So basically what happens is, if like you go here, and let's see if I can type hidden, maybe it shows, yeah. So there's overflow hidden, overflow X, and it's not really showing the one I want to see. Let me see if it, let's just do media creators for now. And where is the breakpoints? Yeah, so here they have small, so SM, MD, LG, XL, 2XL, etc. So basically MD is saying, I think it's like tablet. Once it's 768, I want it to be displayed block, which means like right now it's hidden, the menus, but once I drag it out to here, now it's displaying the nav menus as block. So it's actually on a line. So that's basically this line of code. So now it's hidden, block, just like that. So that's what we're creating right here. And so inside the div, we'll just pass in our link. So let's say A, and then we'll have dot p-4, press tab, href, let's say index.html, And then here we'll just say home. So then I'll hold shift alt down arrow 2 times. We're gonna say about, and then we'll say contact. And here let's just keep them, let's just say about, just so you can see like the page change. We're not actually gonna make new pages, but when I make the mode menu, it'll make more sense. So I'll save that now, and it's hidden right now. So when I go like this, you can see it. So let's actually do this. Let's get rid of this hidden for now, because it's not gonna make any sense if you can't see everything. So let's go and actually start designing this. So right here in the nav, I don't have any classes. So first things first, I want to put all of these on the same line. So I'm gonna say class equals quotes. And let me do Command B to close out my tab on the left. And here I'm gonna say flex. So this essentially is like flexbox where I just save it. So everything's on the same line. Next, I want to space these evenly. So I'll say justify. I'll have justify dash between. So this kind of like justify content space between. So I'll save it here. So now we got some spacing. Next, I'm gonna say items center. And then we'll have the height to be 16. So I'll save it like this. And let's do this. Let's do the background. So in order to add a background, would be BG dash. And I'm gonna add a gradient just to be fancy. You can see it already tells me one. So I can say BG gradient dash 2 dash R. And then we'll say from dash purple dash 700. Then space and say 2 dash purple dash 600. So these values right here are just pretty much colors, and it's like 2 from and 2, basically a gradient, and it's saying put these 2 colors here. And then I'm gonna say text dash white, and this is how you change the color of the text. So I say text dash the color, so text white. I want to say text red, text blue, you get the point. So I'll say text white, and then I'll just say relative here. I'll be able to add a position absolute, but if not, we can keep it later. But let's just save it now. And now we have a little navbar. So pretty much here, this is basic flex box, spacing between, centering the items. Height is 16, so if I go here and just type in height. And also, I'm not going to go through every single thing, but like for the first part, I'm just going to do it. But you can see here for rem there, and then you can increase, decrease it. And then there's a gradient, so let's do that. Let's say gradient, and pretty much if I scroll all the way down, because right now I'm on desktop, you can see like it's a BG gradient dash 2R from green to blue. Like that's literally what we did. BG gradient 2R, except I just changed the color to purple, and then text is white, and then just relative. And that's basically Tailwind CSS. So now let's just continue adding some more styles to this. So next thing is, yeah, let's do this. I want to show you the hidden part first now, because now we have this visual done. So now for the nav menu, let's do this. Let's say hidden now. And that's right here with the this div here. So add hidden to this next to MD block. So now it's there. Now we have bars. Now for the bars, I want to actually show hamburger menu bars. So let me show you this cool website. So here I'm on this website called heroicons.dev, and you can see this guy that made it. And pretty much this is compatible with Tailwind CSS, so you literally can search for whatever icon you want. So the one I want here is just, let me just say menu. And I mean, you can change it whatever one you want to, but let's just click this one. And right now, since I didn't change anything default, it just copies the SVG code. So that can go in here, and they have like custom things if you need like React stuff or JSX. But now we can go to the bars, delete this here. Let's press enter. And then I'll just straight up copy this SVG code. So now you can see it looks like this. So when I save it, now you can see we have bars right there. So I actually increase this. So now go inside the SVG, change this to like 8 width, 8 height. So it's a little bigger. And then let me check the classes on the actual div. So now we have px for cursor pointer. And let's do this. Let's do, because the problem right now, if I scroll to desktop, like it's chilling. So what I want to do is say, on the bigger screen size, so 768, I'll say MD, and I'll just say hit. Save it. So now when it reaches tablet view, it just disappears and it only shows the nav links. So the menu's there, that's pretty much it. So let's finish up the hero section, and then I'll add the JavaScript to show you like the drop down, and then we can end this off. So let's go here under nav. Let's press enter. I'll do command slash make a comment. I'll just say hero section here. I'll press enter, and let's just create a div. So let's say dots. Class, we're gonna say bg-no-repeat, and then here, let's do this first because it's not gonna make any sense. Let me press tab first, and then let's just say hero. Save it. And now we need to get an image. So you can go to any website that you want, but I just pretty much, let me show you real quick. I'll just drag my image over just to save some time. So let me just do this, Command B. And then let's go here. And let's drag this image into images. And this one just called img.jpg. It's just this pic right here. You can go to Unsplash, Pixabay. There's another one called Pexels.com. Any picture, it doesn't matter. But once you get the image, you can go in. And for Tailwind CSS, this is one way to add a background URL. So here, instead of doing class, you say style equal quotes. Then we'll say background dash image colon then URL parenthesis. And inside the parentheses, we'll pass in the actual file. So we'll say quotes dot slash images slash image.jpg. So now if I save it, we got our little image. So right now there's no height set. So the way to set a height is you say h-screen, and this sets a 100 viewport height. So command B, and now you can see we have this black screen. So the problem right now is not centering or positioning our image properly. So let me just go out here. So now let's add the classes to position it. So bg-center. And again, if you're like, what are these magic codes? I'm just typing it. Literally, if you need to look it up, just go in here and type in like bg-center. And it'll show you like the background positioning. You can see here. So here we go bg center, and then let's do bg-cover. And then let's just say center here. So I'll save it, and now we got our image right there. Okay, so now let's go inside the div now. So right above the hero, just delete this word. And then let's create another div. So I'll say dots. Then I'm gonna say text dash center. So I want this to have center text, and then I'm gonna say dot font dash bold. So I want bold font, press tab. And then in here we'll have an H1, so I'll say H1. And then we'll say dot. And then we'll say text dash 4XL. And then I want to have another class called MB-10, so margin bottom 10, so that I have some spacing on the bottom of this text. Then I want to have it to be purple, so I'll say text dash purple dash 600. And then also when I hover it, I want to say dot hover colon text dash white. And then I want to have dot duration dash 300. So I'll press tab here. We'll save it. And nothing is going to happen because we haven't actually added code. So let's just say choose your colors inside of the H1. And there we have it. So the text is kind of small. You're like, I don't like this. So what we can do here, let's do this. We'll say large, because again, if I go back, look up media queries, it's not really large LG, but pretty much it's 1024 pixels. So I'm gonna say for, where is it at? H1 here, I'll say LG colon, I want the text to be -9XL size. And then on the tab, I want to say small colon, or small margins. So I think 640, we'll say text, not margin, I mean media query. We'll say text dash 6XL, and then we'll have text dash 4XL. So now, right now it's shrinked, and then it'll slowly grow like that. So that's just the way I did it. I mean, there's probably 100 ways to make it different, but feel free to let me know in the comments. And pretty much here, we can do, let's do this. I think, I'm not sure why it's not centered right now. So we'll fix that. Let's add out the code first and see why it's not centered. But under the H1, let's create an A tag. And this is basically just a little like button. So let's say A dot text dash white. And then we'll say text dash XL dot center. And then we're gonna have dot transform. And then we have another class dot hover colon scale dash 110. So that's how you create hovers. And then you have the property. Then we have dots duration dash 300. So I'll press tab. We'll have just put a little hashtag for now. And then A tag will say explore, and I'll just save it for now. So now that's what we got. And let me see. For some reason not sure why, let me see. Let's do Command-Shift-C, console. Let's refresh. Yeah, so I don't know why it's not, let's add the SVG really quick first, and then I'll try to figure out what happened. But let's go here, and let me just type in arrow. And I think I picked, yeah, this looks the same. Yeah, I did this one right here. So arrow, narrow right, just click it. And then like right after the E in the explore word, but we're still inside the closing A tag, we'll just paste this SVG. So I'll save it now. And then for the, let's see, yeah, the height, the width, and I'll say, well actually no, I need to add, where is it at? So I realized that the issue right now is the value center isn't actually a value from Tailwind. I just made that up. And I'll see why in just a second, but right now let's go back to this first div above or below the hero section comment, and let's say flex, and then let's say, let's do this, flex justify center, and then we'll say items dash center. So I'll save that brings it to the center, and let's copy this exact line, and let's just replace this right here. So now we got it like this. And then also I want to add on the SVG, I'll put margin left dash 2, got a spacing action. So now the transition is working, and that's why I was not able to get it work earlier. So now let's show you what had happened and why did I actually put the word center instead of this code originally with Command B. So the cool thing with Tailwind is you can actually make these classes where it's essentially like a one word or whatever word you end up making. And then it essentially can be applied to any style. So if you notice, you repeat particular code over and over. Like this example is kind of, I'd say they're very separate. But if you've had like a cards component where it's like 10 cards, you'd most likely have the same class every time. It'll just be a pain, adding it in manually. So for here, you'll want to go to your SRC, styles.css. So right where we have all these Tailwind lines, and then here you call your class whatever you want to name it. So I'll just call this one dot center, curly braces, and then you'll say at apply, and then you'll pass in the values for the class that you want this dot center class to have. So we'll say flex justify center, and then items dash center, which is essentially like a line item center. They'll have a semicolon. We'll save it here. And now I'll go back to index.html. I can go in, so we had flex right here for the SVG Explorer. We have flex, and then we have justify center, and then we have item center. So highlight those, delete them. So I'll save it for now just to show you. So now you see the arrows like all messed up, and I'll just say center. And now, if I save it, it doesn't work again. So that's another thing too, is then you go do Command J. And we just gotta make sure we do npm run and then build-css, and that should fix it. So now we see that it is working here, and then we can go to, where's it at? Right here. Delete flex, justify content, and item center, and then just pass in the center. Save it here, and it's back to normal. So now when we go refresh, it is just like this. So now the last thing we want to do is create the mobile menu, because right now it's kind of useless, and then you can build upon it and get fancy with it. So for now, let's make sure I have the actual code or the IDs. So let's see, go back to the top. So this is the section right here, the nav now. So let me see, I got ID bars. Okay, we need ID bars, and then I want to have menu. So I think, where did I put it? Yeah, ID menus here. Okay, perfect. So now we go to app.js, and this is just basic JavaScript. Again, you can refactor this, make it cleaner, but this is like the most straightforward, easiest way I'd say to just get started. So I'm gonna say const bars, and we're gonna say equal to document.query selector, and we're gonna target the bars ID. Then I'll do shift alt down arrow. Then I want to target the menu ID, and I want to change that to menu. So let's go here, and then let's add an event listener bar. So I'm gonna say bars dot add event listener. We're gonna pass in a click event, and then pass in the callback function here, and essentially we're gonna say if menu dot class list dot contains the class hidden, then I want to also check and if the window dot inner width, so make sure it's a capital W width, is less than 768. Outside of this, I want to say menu dot class list dot remove hidden. So I'll save it now, and right now if this worked, we click it, and now you can see that it displays this block. So what happened is it's essentially hidden and only displays block on tablet or bigger size screens. So when I clicked it, it removed the hidden class, so now it's essentially display block. Now the issue is it's not looking like the mobile menu. So what we need to do is say menu.classlist.add, and this is just the way I did it. Again, there's probably a bunch of ways to refactor this, so feel free to comment down below. And here I'm just gonna add in a bunch of classes. So the way you do it for this is you say quotes flex, and then comma, and then next line you'll say the next class, so flex dash column, comma, and then we'll say the next one will be text dash center, comma, the next line will be bg dash purple dash 600, comma, and then we'll have width to be full, so it spans the full width of the screen, and then I want to have this position absolute, so now we're actually going to utilize this, and then we'll just have it top dash 16, so it's essentially the same height as the nav is 16, h dash 16, so it's going to start like right below it. So if I save this now, I did everything right, now we got a little design. So again, you can edit these values and refactor them, make it look cooler, but that's just like the most simple way that I made it. And then outside of this curly brace, we'll just put else, hold on, yeah, else curly brace, we'll just say menu.class list.add hidden. And now the issue is, one, when we scroll back, like watch this, if I go here and then I shrink it back, it's like retaining the classes that we added, and it just doesn't look good, doesn't make sense. So what we need to do, and this is one way I did it, feel free to let me know alternatives. I just looked at the window and I added an event listener. Oh, come on, what happened? Event listener, and basically I'm just looking to resize event, and I'll pass in the arrow function, and then pretty much we're going to say if window.inner width is greater than 768 pixels, then I want to say menu.classList.add hidden, and then I'm going to say menu, well actually, yeah, let's do this. Let's copy this entire menu classes add part, copy it here, and then just change that to remove. So save it now. So now if I open it and then I drag it over, it changes. And then the last thing is, right now if I click on something, like it went to the next page. We didn't create the about page, but like this is just, I put that link there. The problem is, like if I click on home, you'll see it's there, but like about, it's basically not there. So one thing you could do, again, it looks like it's working, but if you wanted to, you can just say another menu dot add event listener, and we'll just pass in a click, and pretty much whenever, we'll do the arrow function again, Whenever we click on it, we'll just say menu.class list dot add, or just hide it again. So here, and basically it looks like that. So this was just a super simple website with Tailwind CSS. So if you enjoyed this, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Comment down below if you wanted me to make one with React or make a more complex website, which is HTML CSS. Let me know in the comments below what you think, any cool ways to refactor this code. And aside from that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.